OPEIU, organizing and on the move.
Hi, y'all. I'm Griffin Mauser. I work for Book People.
I work at the Florence Immigrant and Refugee Rights Project.
I am a senior researcher with the Energy Democracy Initiative at the Institute for Local Self-Reliance.
I work at a creative crowdfunding company called Kickstarter.
I am an employee at Augsburg University in Minneapolis.
Committed to building strong workplace communities.
I work for North Memorial Healthcare. I'm a line pilot for their helicopter EMS service.
I work at the Land Stewardship Project.
I work at the Guttmacher Institute, and I am a research associate.
I work at Disability Rights Ohio, which is the federally mandated protection and advocacy system for the state of Ohio.
On the move, advancing economic and social justice for all working people.
I work at Jewish Community Action in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and I am the combating hate organizer.
My name is Mateo Granados. I work for a nonprofit called Move Texas.
I work for Florence Immigrants and Refugee Rights Project, and I am working as an administrative assistant.
Engaging and empowering new growth industries like healthcare, higher education, tech, and nonprofits, and listening to their needs both on and off the job.
Many workers from across the spectrum want to see their own workplaces be places that are supportive of racial justice, equity, and inclusion, and they want their employers, often employers that talk the talk about equity issues, to start walking the walk.
Unfortunately, for a lot of people, their employers are not necessarily looking out for them, and the only real surefire way to know that you can do that is to join together and take care of each other.
There's a sort of myth that is being dispelled, I think, at a lot of nonprofits, that, you know, the sort of family mentality that your management and staff are always on the same side and that you don't need a union. And I think recent years have shown that, you know, more and more nonprofits are unionizing and not suffering as a result, that you can still be a mission-driven organization.
The global pandemic brought equity and working conditions into sharp focus across all OPEIU sectors.
We formed this union because we had a vision of an organization where we could do the important social change work that we were doing and afford to make ends meet at the end of the day.
I think we assumed that because leadership works in the same field as us, which is social justice and disability rights, we thought these are the kind of people that would be on our side. We felt like we woke up and realized we worked for an organization that wasn't in line with our values. But we can create that value as the union.
The mission of the Glide Foundation is all about social justice and equity. And so we thought this is unfair, basically, that our frontline workers, our direct service workers, were employed by the organization for many, many years and had not seen a rise in their pay and had not seen their benefits increase.
This is what democracy looks like!
Thousands of professionals have organized with OPEIU, demanding higher wages, securing better health care and paid leave benefits, while pressing for greater diversity, equity, and inclusion, and a voice on the job.
What we're seeing now that we haven't seen in the past is a real desire for transparency in the workplace. Accountability from the employer. They want a seat to be able to see what's going on in those discussions.
What we've always said through our unionizing process is that this union is not about one person. It's not about one policy. It's about having a legitimate seat at the table to govern the things that affect our working lives, where we spend 40 plus hours a week, every week.
I think staff have felt for a long time that Augsburg was not really a place where staff had much of a voice over how decisions got made, and having union protections seems like a good course of action to take.
And they're looking at their paycheck and saying, my gosh, how do I even survive on this? Having to work 2 or 3 jobs to pay your rent, make sure that your kids have shoes. It's just isn't what people want in this country anymore. They want a fair shake.
We are the first generation that's going to have maybe worse living conditions than our parents will have had. We're going to actually have a harder time accumulating wealth. And I think that people are turning towards unions because they're seeing this as the place where some of the change is happening.
Change is happening, with OPEIU creating historic firsts and transforming workplaces across new industries.
Congratulations, Kickstarter United!
Kickstarter, a creative crowdfunding company, became the first tech company to organize in the United States.
The thing that was really the catalyst for our organizing drive and saying we need a union was a number of folks who got fired for doing their job, for basically enforcing the policies of our platform, and they got fired for doing their job.
OPEIU's groundbreaking Tech Workers Union Local 1010 is leading the way, representing tech workers in an evolving industry.
Sometimes when you think about tech companies, like, oh, they got all these perks and benefits and stuff. It's like, yeah, we were a good place to work. But slowly seeing some of those things kind of erode and being taken away was a big incentive for a lot of people to say, we need the union.
OPEIU is also making history in higher education. Augsburg University became the first private university to organize in Minnesota. Others followed, including student resident assistants, a first in university organizing.
A lot of people were working essentially just to pay healthcare. That was frankly not acceptable. We hadn't had a new bid in a number of years, and we didn't feel like there was enough work being done to find the best healthcare possible for Augsburg staff and faculty. So it was vital for us to get that fixed.
The stewards have been able to help people defend themselves when they've been accused of something, they're under threat of being punished, terminated, whatever. And I think just the ability to fight back is important.
College faculty are frequently organized, but college professional staff generally aren't. And we found out that OPEIU Local 12 had organized with Augsburg University in Minnesota, and that led us to be quite interested in OPEIU and ask for that initial meeting.
In entertainment, Secretly Group, home to exciting emerging talent like Phoebe Bridgers, became the first independent music label to organize.
I appreciate the historic nature of being the first independent record label union. And at the end of the day, it was about the people in the warehouse who, are people I'm friends with and people who I know who have really, really hard jobs and, we're not being compensated right.
And despite being in a so-called right-to-work state, Book People in Austin, Texas, became the first independent bookstore to form a union. These staff professionals are devoted to creating a thriving business for their community and ensuring that employees are treated fairly.
What really pushed me over the top was driving to work one day, and I was making $9.50 after 4 years, or 5 years, and I saw a taco joint that was starting people at $13 to $15 an hour. And that pretty much convinced me that, yeah, we probably need a little more say.
A good contract can change everything in the workplace. When you have a group like we did with Book People that really was concerned about the employer's interest in their personal safety should the employee face harassment from a customer or from another coworker, there are steps in place to make sure that that's handled appropriately.
Working people want better wages and benefits, but they also want a feeling of respect on the job and to know that their voice is being heard. They're turning to OPEIU to make it happen.
Young workers want a voice in the work that they're actually doing. It is not just about the terms and conditions of their employment. That's important to them, but how they do their work, the work that they're going to perform, they want a say in that.
Especially like being in Arizona, it's a, what is it called, at will state. Like they can fire us for any reason. The more I looked into it, the more it seems like a way to really give a voice to the employees where we never felt like we had a seat at the table, and now we do.
When the pandemic struck, local unions adapted, embracing new strategies to connect with working people and help them form their unions. OPEIU was one of the leading unions in pioneering a remote style of organizing during the last 3 years of the global pandemic.
We're talking about TikTok, Facebook, all the different apps that we're using to communicate with each other, to communicate union campaigns about organizing and topics.
Our entire first contract was negotiated during the depths of COVID. This was pre-vaccine, so everything was on Zoom.
New strategies are being built through the OPEIU Apprentice Organizer Program, helping local unions organize new members like never before.
It taught us things we didn't know about organizing, or better yet, things we thought we knew about organizing. There's constant updates about legislation, there's constant updates about new organizing techniques, and quite frankly, it's to kind of help us with our social media presence.
The Apprentice Organizing Program has been great for us. It, in addition to the financial piece that has enabled us to add organizers, it also has really an infrastructure of support for those organizers to learn from each other and to have kind of a community that didn't exist before.
OPEIU, committed to organizing in new and exciting industries, changing lives, and building power by transforming workplaces, one contract at a time.
Workers across Texas deserve better. They deserve to have a seat at the table to negotiate better health care, raise minimum wage. They deserve to have paid parental leave, paid sick leave. In states where union density is much higher, those are the norm. The working class folks of Texas also deserve that, and that's why Local 277 is committed to organizing.
You have to go out, you got to meet your members, you got to see your members, and you got to get new members too, because a lot of people don't know, a lot of people still don't know about unions. They don't know what we stand for, or they don't know what it's about.
It makes your workplace better. It gives you more of a say at what is happening in your day-to-day and with your livelihood.
I've always felt that the unions in general have the best interests for their people, and I can say without a doubt that my life has been better. I've gotten paid better. I've gotten better quality work times because of unions.
My brother is like a fancy finance bro. And, he went to the nicest business schools and all that. And then he's like, wait a minute, how did you get 6 weeks off? My job's better than yours. And I'm like, union, baby, union.
Committed to organizing, pursuing new industries, embracing new methods, strengthening local unions, transforming lives. OPEIU, now more than ever, organizing and on the move.